You all look familiar. And it has been a great, great pleasure to spend the time with you that I've been able to spend. I was so anxious to learn from listening to you just what your labors are, and I have been so much rewarded from what I have heard. Now, I would ask the elders for permission to speak, but my wife would probably think and tease me for wanting to have a conversation with myself if I did that. So I will avoid it. But I want you to know that this is no joke. What you are doing is no joke. Not only are you doing it well, but you have undertaken a work of the greatest seriousness. I watched those awards being handed out, and I was delighted to see that it was the oak tree that was used. It reminded me of one of my essays, which is entitled George Washington and the Standing Oak. And I used the standing oak precisely in the way that you use it, as a symbol of deep roots and durability. You are striking roots deep in the soil of American hopes. And those hopes will be vindicated as your labors progress and bear fruit. And I have seen countless indications of that. I'm here this afternoon or this evening to say to you, keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm deliberately not going to deliver a prepared remarks because I want to speak to what I have heard. And I want to speak of the issues that we face, bearing in mind as I do so that this is not easy. It is a difficult task. It is no joke. It is hard work. It is the kind of work you do not ask the light-minded, the flighty, and the insincere to undertake. How great is the task that you face? Well, I can give you one test. Name one member of the Congress of the United States who is foursquare in defense of equal protection of the laws. That is a commentary. That is a commentary. It would be a better world if we could say, we could point to people who would carry this burden for us, who would make it unnecessary for us to put in sacrificial labors in defense of truth. We're not able to make that claim. Moreover, we're not going to get to the mountaintop by just playing politics. You must understand that. Yes, there are ways things are done in this capital, and it's not difficult to master them. We know how to bring the threat of opinion polls to bear on those who will vote on these important decisions. We know how to gin up campaign contributions. We know how to put pressure on in districts, how to create the impression of a rising crescendo of concern. But that's just playing politics. And what you have undertaken goes beyond that. You've undertaken to reestablish the principles of this nation. You've decided to labor not for your particular concerns, but for America. That's why I have been so inspired, that you are fighting for your country. You are patriots in the finest sense. And therefore, I can do nothing more than share with you my best understanding of the dimensions of the task you have undertaken, of the labors that lie before you, of the routes that are worth exploring, and of the results that you should expect. Now, to begin with, the labors that lie before you. I'm not going to agree with John Fund that your voices are too disparate and that you need to find a soundbite. I believe that you're doing the right thing. However, I'm going to give you an assignment. In fact, I'm going to give you 2 assignments. The first assignment I'm going to give you is to identify 5 cases. 5 cases which among themselves will carry the solution to every problem that you have identified, and to put everything into those cases. I want your board to deliberate. I want you to talk with Lana Marcuson, Darrell Smith, and whoever else is involved in making these legal judgments. And I want you to say, these are the cases we're going to push to the mountaintop. I want you to adopt the very strategy that the NAACP adopted in 1910. I want you to do it knowing that your struggle will be no easier than theirs was. But case after case, they must be pressed with the goal in mind of changing the law, not simply solving the case. There must be complete devotion to that, because that is how, on the legal front, we make the changes that are necessary. Why 5 cases? Why not 1? Because your quiver should always be full. You need to have as small a number of cases as possible to put the greatest effort into them and make them as strong as possible. You need to have enough cases to assure that the issue is always alive. So that is a task that I charge you with. I charge you with a second task. This is not going to be easy. I want the first task to be completed by the board by the end of the next quarter.
Cool. You got it.
Okay. Second task is a different kind of task, but it speaks to your heart and draws from your hearts. I want you to develop a covenant with the American people that every member of the Congress of the United States can sign, committing to full-fledged support for equal protection of the laws for all American citizens. I want you to develop that covenant, and I don't want you to take it to Congress. Surprise. That's where it will end up. I want you to first take it to all the local affiliates of SARA. And moreover, I want you to identify every such group in the country you can. And for this, you're going to have to assign everybody the role to identify and talk to others and to get their buy-in to the covenant. Whether the groups are such groups as the New Hampshire Center for Constitutional Studies on one end of the country, or something in California or Hawaii on the other end of the country. Find them all. Bring them in at that level with nothing else to put before them other than a covenant of full commitment to the equal protection of the laws, which, when you've gathered all those sponsors, will lead to presenting this covenant to the members of the Congress for their signature. And it will bear one other thing with it. It will bear an apology. And Lana Marcuson, I'm going to give you the specific assignment to begin the drafting of the apology. I'll be glad to consult with you. We can communicate back and forth and work on it. The board will work on it. I want this apology to be an apology that the Congress of the United States can adopt, which apologizes to the people of the United States for having so long failed to guarantee the equal protection of the laws.